Hello, it's me checking in again. It's been about 3 months now from when the last video was recorded. How things going? What am I doing? I'll talk about maybe some of the sadder stuff at the start and I'll move on to the more positive stuff. So if you don't feel like hearing any of that, just skip to the good stuff. But who are we kidding? That's what you're really here for, right? The struggles. At first, I was really putting off making this video because I was waiting for myself to, achieve more and do more where I would feel happy about my progress and what I was essentially reporting, I guess, and applying, I think, a too high a standard for myself. I thought I should push myself to do it anyway, just because this would be the most honest representation. And it's not like I've achieved nothing, I guess. Maybe I shouldn't think about it like that. But I can never really seem to be happy with my progress. I feel like, I might never be happy until I don't have to worry about money or work ever again. But maybe that's an unrealistic goal that I might never achieve. Or maybe it's unhealthy to even think about it that way as the goal to attain. But never say never. It's been hard. It's been hard. I feel like I'm constantly kind of trying to iteratively improve my life instead of work, I guess. So approaching it the same way I would at work where, I'm constantly trying to improve a workflow or some sort of process. But it feels like I'm in a pressure chamber and I keep getting crushed and reformed over and over again. But I'm slowly forming a plan and trying to take the steps to execute it. But I don't know if I'll be able to pull through and what I'll look like on the other side, or even when that will happen, or if I'll even make it at all. But I'm trying my best. It's hard. It's hard. I think the biggest part is feeling not feeling enough, not feeling productive enough. When you go to work and you come home, it's like, you've made money and you feel productive. So when you get that 8-hour block out of the way, you're like, I feel like I can do whatever I want now. And it's like, you've still achieved something. You've still made money. I'm sure not everyone feels that way, but I guess in general, when you're working full time and you have a job, that's more so how it feels. It's a lot harder not having that kind of, I guess, security or forced productivity in a way, not knowing the right direction that I'm going or whether it's the right direction, feeling like I don't have enough energy, stress about making money, worrying about making money. Above all, the hardest part is, it almost feels like I'm not suited to life. In a way, there's so many things that I have to do and need to do to live a happy and fulfilled life, and sometimes it just feels like I just don't have enough energy, or there's too many trade-offs that have to take place in order to do all those things. I don't know. I feel like I'm filled with a lot of ambition and drive, but at the same time, I don't have the capacity to fulfill those. Sometimes it feels a bit like I might never be happy, I've been spending a lot of time in bed. It's definitely hard to get out of bed sometimes. I feel like sometimes I play too many games. Obviously, I enjoy doing it and, I like it, but I feel like I'm always stressed out and guilty. Like, I'm not allowed to enjoy myself because, like I said before, with, going to work and coming home, you've been productive that day, so it feels a bit better. But it's not okay for me to feel that way. I guess it's no way to live to feel guilty constantly about doing anything or enjoying myself even a little bit. I mean, that's the point, right? In a way, it feels like I've just been chasing dopamine, playing a lot of games, just scrolling a lot on my phone or something, watching YouTube. Even when I read books or something, it feels like I'm not doing enough. And I kind of want to learn to transfer this to, the goals I want to do. So making it more so that when I do the things that I want to do and the pursuits and get to where I want to be, getting dopamine from that, I wish that was a lot easier said than done. But I mean, ultimately the thing is, it's not the point to remove everything that I enjoy doing just because it's not productive or makes money. yeah, it's just hard. I guess especially as a man, there's a lot of societal expectation to provide and make money. And it's hard to be okay with the situation where I am essentially solely being supported by my partner, even though the situation has been reversed before. And at the time, I wanted nothing more than for my partner to be happy and to thrive and not have to work while, she figured out what she wanted to do. So I'm trying to give myself the same grace, really, but it's hard. And it's not even that we're struggling budget-wise. Everything has been set up where the current income is more than enough to cover living costs and everything. And there's even spending costs in addition to having a little bit of savings. So technically, we could survive indefinitely without my working. But obviously, I don't want to put that pressure on her, nor do I want that to permanently be the case. It's hard not to feel like a loser or a deadbeat, just kind of seeming directionless. With the things I do, like just drawing a few comics doesn't make me any money or make me any good at anything, or making a few things here and there doesn't make me good enough to do anything. It feels like I'm just so far away from the path to any kind of monetization with anything. But I guess that's not the point, is it? Well, I mean, ultimately it's would be nice, but I guess the point might just be to focus on slowly iterating until we get there. It hasn't been easy. It's definitely been a struggle. Let's talk about achievements. I have a little list that I wrote just to remind myself that I have done things. It's not like I've done nothing. I've made some YouTube videos. I released the first vlog and I made another video, recorded and edited them. A lot of fun. It took me a very long time to even get that first vlog out, and it was a lot of footage and a lot of removals of ums and ahs, which was pretty funny. That was good, and I even got 200 and something views on my vlog, which is amazing. I didn't think that many people would want to watch it, so that's been nice. My little comic strips, my web comics, the depressed but optimistic little snails. I've been releasing one about once every week or two, and that's been going well. I have a lot of backlog of ideas. I have this little notes sheet of all these different ideas that I write down and think about a lot, and whenever it comes around to it, I'll jump into that sheet and start drawing it up. I even got 100 upvotes on Reddit. That might not seem a lot, but it was pretty cool. I'll bring up this screenshot. I don't know which way I'm going to put it. I got over 100 upvotes and a few thousand views, and I even got, it says, I think at the time that I checked, it was 7 or 8 people shared it. So that's really nice to know, that several thousand people saw something that I made, and they liked enough to go out of their way to upvote it and even share it. It's pretty cool. In terms of the world building stuff, so I started a little Google sheet. I did a lot of research and notes about the world and about what it is. It's pretty cool. I'm pretty proud of it. I'm excited to kind of develop it more and see what things I can do with it, turn it into a game, maybe write something or something, I don't know. But I think it's a very interesting idea. Basically, it's about a world where the sun has disappeared and what the effects on the earth that would be. So things like the surface slowly becoming uninhabitable, having to live underground and rely on energy sources such as geothermal or nuclear, and things like why the sun even disappeared in the first place. I think it's fun. I mean, I enjoyed writing a lot when I was younger, so I haven't done something like this in a while, but it's been a lot of fun trying to figure out all the different details of the universe and doing research, like what would happen and, what would happen to the Earth, where it goes when the sun disappears, things like that. So that's fun. I've been working on that. I've been reading a lot of comics. I've hit over 60 books actually, which is pretty crazy. And some of those are the really thick ones, the thick omnibuses. So it's been pretty fun. It's been pretty interesting. I think I'm mostly stuck to Marvel for now. I guess just because jumping over is a whole lot of effort. But I've read this whole row of books here basically. And then I've started on some of this stuff. But it's been really interesting. It's a lot of the books that I've read are kind of what some of the current MCU is based on. So, we got The Avengers, Civil War, Secret Invasion, which is the new TV show, and even House of M, which is similar to what One Division was. So that's been really fun, and I've been going to the library and borrowing a lot of books too. So not even just this stuff. And funnily enough, from the last video, I guess the shelf was a lot smaller. It was funny. After I bought that shelf, I was like, oh man, I have slightly more books than this shelf, and I didn't really want to put that many books on the bottom shelf either. So I went and bought a bigger shelf. But it's very embarrassing, but I've bought a lot of books, and I've definitely slowed down a lot now because I'm starting to really get into reading them and see even how little of a dent I've made. You know, like I said, I've read 60 books or so, but that's only about maybe 2 of these little blocks so far-ish. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. It's been interesting. I started a little Google sheet to track what I've been reading and stuff, but it got too unwieldy and too hard to track. So I actually moved onto this website, which I'll show you. It's called A League of Comic Geeks, which I think it's funny. I guess that's me now. But you know, you can check off what you've read and stuff, and it'll record it all, and you can even export it later. So it's been interesting tracking that. So over 60 books. Unsure about how many single like comic issues that represents, because obviously the books are very varying sizes. I started a website. I set one up. It was just a WordPress one, so not super fancy, but you know, it was good to set one up anyway, just to start. And I've still been playing around with trying to set up my own website kind of from scratch-ish, rather than obviously using a website like WordPress. But you know, made a few posts, stuff like that, to document all this kind of stuff, so that's good. I've received so many kind words. It's very, very nice. So many people have messaged me or commented on my things, or even talked to me in real life, and I'll pop a few of them up here. But it's been very nice. It's really nice to know that, I guess, the stuff that I talk about and what I do, people can relate to, or they're supportive of me. It's very nice. You know, I think I've mentioned this before, but for a few years now, so one of the kind of things that's become a real, I guess, driving motivation in my life is that, you know, obviously we all live our lives, and so many people have so many different goals and things that they think is right or what they should do in life. But what I think is that if I even affect one person's life positively, this will all have been worth it. Because ultimately, to me, it's like we're all just trying to get through it, you know? Everyone goes through happy times, sad times, but everyone's living life, and we only have one of them. So I feel like if I've affected someone's life positively, that makes it feel like my life has been worth living, you know? I guess it hits different when it's people further away, so not people that I see every day, to know that something I've made or done has affected them positively or made them feel a bit more, you know, that they can relate and that their feelings are valid, stuff like that, and having actual proof. So that's been really nice. I've been working out, you know, getting shredded, not really. I have a set of dumbbells and, you know, a bench that I bought ages ago. So starting up a schedule again of trying to work out, trying to lose weight and get stronger is something that I've been trying to do. It's been a while, but something that really motivates me specifically is this one specific like way that they pose or video. I think I've seen it a few times. Maybe it's like Ziz who does it or something, but they kind of like do something like this, where it's like a kind of Greek god kind of, not even like this kind of pose, and their arms and body is so muscular. I'm like, oh man, I just want to be able to do that and make a video like that. So I don't know, I've been working out. We'll see if we get there. I've been trying to do a lot of chores as well, trying to do a few things every day, just not to be so overwhelmed by it. I just want my partner to never really have to think about anything, you know, because she's the one working and I'm at home all day, I guess. Having to, you know, worry about that stuff is something that I would like her not to. So offloading that mental load for her completely, or as much as I can, by just trying to do as much as possible and not overwhelm myself by, I guess, trying to do like one thing every day or a little bit every day, you know. I want to make a schedule of like things that need to be done and kind of just tackle that, like, you know, like every so often do the sheets, every so often do the laundry. Having a little like schedule or workflow that's set up to remind me of that is something that I've been trying to set up, just haphazardly doing a little bit every day for now until it's more structured, I guess. I got engaged, which is nice. You might see this and think this is an engagement ring, but it's not a wedding ring either. I actually made this with my partner like months ago, maybe even a year ago or so now. We went to a ring making class and we made each other little ring finger rings, which I think is really cute. But yeah, I got engaged. I'll probably make a video about that soon, actually. It's all very exciting. It was a lot of fun leading up to it. I made a loose schedule as well. So in addition to the chores thing, I made a kind of loose schedule of things to do. So trying to structure it in a way where I felt like I could tackle these things and I would feel like I'd done something that day, which is nice. So scheduling it so that I work out a specific part each day, I work on a specific thing each day and do a little bit of chores each day, you know. I'll put up this really premature kind of schedule, but trying to do that, which is nice. I organized my note-taking. So something that I was really struggling with was managing all my thoughts and goals and all the things I wanted to do. So I switched over to something called Obsidian, it's like a very specific note-taking, I guess, app or program, and organizing my notes in a way that kind of helps me with how I think about things and workflow. So I'll put up this to show you kind of how it's represented, but it organizes things in almost like a tree, a network of thoughts, essentially. A lot of YouTube videos about Obsidian are like, build your second brain in Obsidian. But yeah, I've been trying to do that kind of in a way, because something I feel like I say pretty often is that I feel like my brain is too unreliable. Like I can't trust my brain to like remember everything and do everything, so I really have to outsource that to notes, essentially. So I had heaps and heaps of like unconnected notes on my phone, but I've moved over to Obsidian to try and kind of organize it a bit more, connect it all, especially because the way I've structured, I guess, what I've been trying to do at the moment is that there's a lot of high level like specific goals, and you know, I've written notes about like how to achieve them, how they will connect to each other, stuff like that. I'll show you here, like for example with the comics, the notes, I have a note where, you know, it has all my different ideas, so attaching that to comics and then to goals, you know, interconnecting it all and trying to organize it has really helped me a lot in trying to structure everything, which is cool. But yeah, that's most of what has been going on in terms of some of the more pursuity things. I need to do a lot more on the kind of game dev and algorithmic trading front. I have a few courses that I need to go through that I've had for a while, but I keep not doing it, unfortunately. But I actually really want to. I have so many ideas that I'd like to execute on both of those fronts, but I guess lately other things have just taken priority. So I'll definitely try and squeeze that in to focus on a lot more. I've occasionally applied to jobs. I feel like it's not like super hard. Like I'm pretty happy to settle for something real simple at this point, just because I know that I might not enjoy working, or maybe even thinking about working part-time while I pursue these other things. But at the moment, I feel like that sounds even more exhausting. Like it almost feels like if I get a job, I'm settling, like on compromising on what I want to do, you know. But I might have to, I don't know, because I feel like I just maybe don't have the capacity to pursue my interests far enough. But I feel like that's very limiting of me to think. So for now, I guess I'm trying my best. But I've applied for a few jobs here and there that have sounded really interesting. So if something sounds really interesting that I think I might enjoy, I'll apply for it. So for example, I applied for a job at Headspace as a data analyst, which is really cool. I even got headhunted, actually. So shortly after I quit my job, I was contacted by a international consulting company that wanted to talk to me because I have this very specific skill in this very specific program. So I had a few interviews with them that was fun. I got to talk to the CTO and the manager of the team that I would be working for if I succeeded. It didn't end up panning out because they wanted someone with a lot more knowledge on kind of the project management side of things, which I don't have as much experience with, rather than the technical stuff, which I had a good grasp of. But, that was cool. I made a bit of money, not through my pursuits or anything, but I made a few $1,000s trading stocks. So that'll be a good injection of cash flow for, going out and stuff like that. It's something I got really into when COVID started, which is partly why I wanted to learn more about algorithmic trading, because I have a lot of ideas of ways to execute it. It's just, it's pretty high risk. But, that was nice, even though I'm not working, still made a little bit of money, which is cool. But yeah, I'm trying my best. I feel like I'm not trying hard enough. I mean, I constantly feel like I'm not trying hard enough, but I am trying. I'll see how I go and how I grow and how my pursuits pan out. Even if I'm consistent and make no money, on the current path I'm on, at least I'll be a shredded comic book nerd house husband, which doesn't sound too bad. But I don't know, I'm just still going, trying to figure out what I want to do, what I like doing, finding myself, as they say. It's been a struggle, but it's definitely been fun. Thank you so much again for, watching my videos, supporting me, all your kind words. I'm going to go into a bit of a tangent actually of something I've been feeling about for a while, and probably this is a reflection of my mental health and how I've been struggling and stuff, but I just wanted to also apologize to those who I don't talk to enough or anymore. It's always hard. And even though I feel like I'm constantly struggling, that's no excuse really. I feel like, I think about this a lot, but there are so many people that have touched my life and that I hold very dearly in my heart, but no longer talk to, But that's life, hey. I feel like a lot of people feel that way, really. Maybe some people are better than others. Maybe a lot more people are better than me, but that's how it is. So thanks for the people who have been a part of my life. Maybe will be in the future again. I don't know. I'm not very good at keeping in contact with people and responding and stuff like that. But, we're all just out there living life. Hope things are going okay with you. If you are, better than me. But I'm just still going. And I'll let you know how I'm going next time. Thanks for watching and see ya.